this. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hopefully, y'all can hear us all right. Welcome on in. We are in panel room 402, and this is Gaming for Good Charity Fundraising 101. So we're going to be talking about how, whether you're just starting out or you're looking to hone your charity fundraising skills, we're going to be talking about like tips, tricks, best practices, sharing some funny moments that might spark inspiration and stuff like that. But we'll start here with some intros. I'll get started here first. My name is Michael, otherwise known as Smirky. I am a guest here at MomoCon this year, and I am hosting this panel. I'm a Twitch partner and Twitch ambassador who does a lot of charity fundraising for a multitude of causes with my gaming streams, just variety of like fun multiplayer games, party games, anything like that, on a bunch of different like teams, including Team SideQuest, which we're all a part of, and we'll talk about a little bit later. But why don't we go ahead and, I also use he, him pronouns, so y'all can introduce yourselves with who you are, your pronouns, what you do, starting next to me here.
Thanks, Murky. I am Kenna, or Polshu on stream. I've been a charity fundraiser for 8 years at this point. Started out with Extra Life, but branched out to a number of other charities. And at this point, I actually work in the charity industry as a consultant and contractor for Choose Mental Health, which is really awesome. The opportunities that I've had streaming have led to that. And I started just like everybody else in this room, one foot at a time. Turned into a lot of great friendships, a lot of really cool opportunities to work with different charities and to work with different teams and being a part of Team SideQuest. So that's a little bit about me.
Hello, I am Mary, aka Starlight. I've actually only been streaming for a little over a year and charity fundraising for exactly a year this month. I am also part of Team SideQuest. I'm actually normally a PNG tuber, so y'all get to see my face. Yeah, I use they, she pronouns, and I'm also part of Team SideQuest.
Awesome. I'm glad that y'all agreed to join because y'all are charity rock stars as well, and I'm really excited to kind of dive into it for everyone. So just kind of like starting from the beginning, I have a question on here, but before I get to that question, I'd really love to ask both of you why you charity fundraise. Like, what's the whole idea? What's the whole purpose? What kind of drives you to do this?
So in the first place, it kind of came from, I had a day job that I really just didn't think was that fulfilling. It wasn't filling that need and that role of like doing something good, being able to give back. So I started out very small. I had some friends who had used Children's Miracle Network hospitals and also had, they were a big group of people that were fundraising for Extra Life, and they introduced me to it, and I really just kind of like found my calling, and it started this whole thing of like, it doesn't matter how many dollars are raised in the beginning, like it's how much you see accumulate over time. So it's been a very timed, like fruitful endeavor. It's given me something to like feel about and take as really personal causes, even local stuff too. What about you?
So for myself, it actually started when I was a younger kid. American Cancer Society was doing their Relay for Life in my town when I was about 14 or 15, and my birthday fell around the same time, so I decided I wanted to do that. And then, so I did that for several years, was involved in that, and then I became an adult, and I started hanging out in Twitch streams, quickly met people who were doing charity fundraising, eventually started streaming myself, and decided that, yeah, I wanted to continue everything that I had done previously in my life in real life, but take it online, because you can take that anywhere. You can fundraise from anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so interesting how so many like creators have gotten into charity streaming through a platform like Twitch in particular, and that's because my charity streaming journey started technically way back in 2014 when I was just kind of like doing it without the content creation sphere. Like I did a YouTube live stream where it was like an on-site direct charity water campaign, because charity water essentially is a cause that like brings access to clean water in developing countries. And I just kind of used their site and just kind of unofficially connected it with my like YouTube stream back then. Nowadays, you'll see a lot of creators that have journeys where they start through Twitch and meet other charity streamers, and now there are so many more tools and integrative resources that pretty much connect the content creation sphere so much more to the the charity fundraising sphere. So now you see a lot more creators getting involved with charities. So in that sense, like, what do you need to tell your fundraising story is kind of, you know, like what do you need to get started? And that kind of does come down to, you know, the tools that you use for content creation and the tools that you use to, you know, fundraise for charity. So what exactly do you need? Well, you might need some things like, you know, first of all, like a streaming or broadcasting software or recording software, even if you plan on just uploading a video. And you know, having like alerts and overlays and stuff like that are also really important. What kind of resources, panelists, do y'all tend to use to tell your fundraising story?
You know, it's really interesting. One of the things that I used to really enjoy about like the Extra Life toolbox that they had is, you know, they had a toolbox to begin with. So a lot of these charities will have little places where you can go find logos and types of videos and stuff. And Extra Life used to have all these really creative like commercials that helped you kind of tell that story and have a little more of that emotional feel. When maybe yours wasn't as strong of a connection. So it was really nice to be able to share like those. I thought that was probably one of the coolest like tools and tips that really helped elevate my charity fundraising. What about you, Star?
Yeah, definitely. Tiltify is a really big platform, especially for all of us. And the great thing about Tiltify is a lot of the causes that you are fundraising for will upload their kits on there, and you can download and create pretty much any overlay, any design that you want, whether it's on stream, whether it's making graphics for yourself to post on social media from their platform.
Yeah, so, you know, Extra Life has been around for a very long time. They're a program of the Children's Miracle Network hospitals that you might have heard of around the US and Canada. And they kind of like pioneered essentially, you know, integrating Twitch and, you know, content creators with charities.
Very much so. They've been around, is it 12 years now? I can't remember if it's 10 or 12, but they've been around quite some time.
Might be longer, honestly.
Yeah, you might be right. COVID time makes everybody kind of question
True,
that.
true.
But Extra Life has been around for a long time, and they really grew from a grassroots community.
Yeah.
And they've really outdone themselves on, you know, introducing those toolkits and crossing over to Tiltify and as well as on Twitch and YouTube. So, you know, they really kind of brought about this change into what became charity streaming in the first place.
Yeah. So, like, what did you notice within those toolkits back then, and you know, like, in what ways have you seen the charity space kind of innovate since then with the tools that, like, these causes provide for creators?
I mean, I think that with Extra Life, you know, they started out just with kind of like a media kit, so they had a lot of these like overlays, just graphic things, maybe videos, but now they've, you know, as they've integrated into Tiltify, now they have all these like auctions and like other safe, secure ways for people to feel good about donating and knowing like that the money's not going to the streamer, and like they kind of helped incentivize that change, I think, in the industry to where we see a safe way to give to content creators that's not to their pocket and then to the charity, which becomes questionable. So I think that's the way I've seen that innovation. What about you, Star?
Yeah, definitely. And it's also innovation through accessibility at this point now.
Yeah.
You don't have to search for assets and stuff necessarily like you did before. They have Discords where you can join to get help for all these different causes. And they're more than, oh my gosh, like Amanda, our St. Jude contact for what everybody loves to do this time of year, which is St. Jude Play Live. Amazing. Like, you can message anytime in that Discord, and like that, you'll get a response, you'll get the help.
Yeah, St. Jude Play Live started out as like a gaming content creator program within St. Jude Children's Research Hospital over in Memphis, and they have kind of like, I guess, revolutionized, innovated the whole like toolkit aspect of charity fundraising. They have a whole dedicated page where you can pretty much like see all the different resources and learn all about them and what kind of overlays you want to have on screen, because having, you know, it's one thing to talk about the charity and share their mission, and that's a whole other conversation we'll get into, but having the on-screen overlays is really important. So that way someone's not clicking off of your channel to go figure out how much is being raised or what the goal is. They can just see it right there on the broadcast that you're creating or the content that you're creating from a live streaming perspective. And even then, you can use that stuff for like videos too.
Absolutely. I was just going to say the other nice thing is they do have like a direct link that embeds your stream on Tiltify now for any of those charities, and I think St. Jude was the one that started that. to be honest, if we're talking about innovation. But yeah, I think for, some of the basics, it's very important to have those charity overlays. So, it can help you customize your alerts right within the Tiltify app itself. You don't even have to do anything else, but you can use other tools to add to those alerts. But Tiltify has really innovated and made it so that it's pretty seamless to find all of those things in one spot.
Yeah. And with the Star, do you have anything to add on that front or no?
No.
Yeah, that's cool. We bring up Tiltify a lot, right? Like, so Tiltify is one of the fundraising platforms, and there's a multitude of fundraising platforms that you can utilize. So, in a sense, it can seem a little overwhelming at first to kind of figure out how do you navigate so many different options, how do you go figure all this out, right? So what kind of resources have y'all used to kind of get started, whether that is Tiltify or maybe something else?
When I first started, there was actually developers within the Extra Life community that made integration plugins that you had to put directly into OBS. Now you still have to do that, but it's a lot easier with some of the ones that Extra Life has created or that St. Jude has, or through Tiltify. But I'd say probably the fundraising bar is usually the very first one to add.
Yeah.
What about you, Star?
Yeah, exactly that. Tiltify does make it incredibly easy, like y'all were saying, but also if you are able to ask friends, that's how I started. Everything that I learned on how to do to set up even just the most basic charity campaign was from my friends who are already doing that. Again, a lot of the causes have Discords. They have people that are dedicated to helping you set up for their fundraisers. They have FAQ guides. There's so many great resources now to get you on that path.
Yeah, one of the best ways to get started, whether that's charity fundraising or content creation in general, is just asking. And there really are so many people that are here to uplift each other, that are here to support each other. So yeah, I mean, going back to the Tiltify page there, this is what the Tiltify website looks like. So you can learn a little bit more by scrolling through and stuff like that, learning about their tools. And again, this is just one of the platforms that you can fundraise on. Tiltify is kind of the primary source where a lot of creators fundraise, because they know that the money is going towards these causes that they are fundraising for, which is really important. Doing your research, right? What kind of things do y'all look for when you're doing your research into charities, into the platforms that you use to fundraise for these charities as well?
Do you mean the charities themselves, the integrity of them, or
either the integrity of the charity or the integrity of the platform to fundraise for the charity?
That's a good question. It took me a lot of time to learn, actually, the integrity of the different programs such as Tiltify. And I know now there's Streamlabs charity. I know Twitch is using a charity extension as well. There's always pros and cons to those, because some of them do take fees, so you kind of have to look into that. That's kind of part of the 101, I think, that learning how to research these things is critical. And so you can go on, and a lot of times those Tiltify, Streamlabs charity, or Twitch, you can reach out to their staff via email. A lot of times they'll tell you, if you ask those specific questions, hey, does your platform take any fees? That way you can at least be clear with your community. They know what you're about and where their money is actually going, what percentage of everything. But as far as the integrity of the charities, there's Charity Navigator, there's GuideStar, there's a couple of different places you can go and look at the financial integrity of a company or a 501c3, and they have tax documents that you have to register. I think that's kind of you have to look and see if that aligns with, where you think the money that you're fundraising should go. So it's really kind of a personal choice there too when you start doing that research. What do you think?
Yeah, because when you start thinking about what causes are important to you, you'll probably find that there are several different charities listed under a category, right? Maybe mental health, maybe LGBTQ plus issues, maybe humanitarian aid, and there's a lot of different causes that you might have to sort through. So using a tool like Charity Navigator to understand a charity's ratings, their integrity, they do have to release these tax documents every year. Transparency reports pretty much. And these are things that are accessible that you can look through and you can better understand where each of these charities stand, what their mission statements are, figuring out what aligns with you in that sense. And Tiltify does have the opportunity to like search for these causes. They have their descriptions on their website. They have ways to find causes through their platform, so they're not just like a platform that you fundraise on, but they're a way to sort through different causes and kind of start looking for what you might be interested in fundraising for.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and also word of mouth is very important too. Ask around. If you have an interest in a charity, ask people what their personal interaction has been with that charity. Did they have an easy fundraising experience? Were they able to get the answers easily? Because that is equally as important, is other people having an understanding of how these charities work, and if they are something you should be investing your time in. Because unfortunately, not all charities are.
Mm-hmm. Definitely had that experience before. I was going to say, of all the innovations I think I've seen through all of this, is Tiltify has really taken it to the point where you should be able to have that point of contact and get to somebody. If you have questions about a charity, you're very likely going to end up on their social media or their Discord to talk to somebody about those questions you might have. So if you're going to look for those tax documents and you're not sure where to look, somebody in the Discord will more than likely help you. So I think that's kind of the coolest integration and how much it's brought together.
Yeah, I mean, community spaces like Discord and love it or hate it social media, they are pretty key for like strengthening not only your community as a creator, but also like your charity fundraising efforts and finding people to fundraise with. I mean, I probably wouldn't have met y'all without social media and community spaces. So, and yeah, like you said, word of mouth, very, very powerful. Getting people to donate, not just on a broadcast, but thinking of ways offline as well. Being able to like spread the word about your campaign on other platforms is huge. It really is. Finding ways to keep your community connected when you're not live or when you're not on a video, using your social medias and stuff like that. Making clips of your content after the fact and being able to repurpose that content on other platforms is pretty huge. And even using a tool like Canva to make graphics of, hey, I'm doing this charity stream. I'm going live on these days. Here are my, here's my schedule. Here's, some things that I'm doing to incentivize donations. Tools like that can be really good. Are there any other tools that y'all have used to?
I was just going to say, Canva's a great free tool for anybody who's streaming. If you're streaming and you need graphics and some way to put them together, whether it's a transparency or something like that, it'll teach you a lot on how to use that just to up your alerts, up your intro video. I've made intro videos on Canva and stuff, so like there's a lot of things that you can do with the program as far as like graphic design, and it's great for charity alerts, charity posts like on Twitter, or then you can make them animated and whatnot. So that's all I've got.
Yeah, Canva is amazing. It has preset canvas sizes for pretty much any kind of post you could want to make, so you don't have to worry about, oh, I have to set this to this amount of pixel or this. No, you just click like, oh, this is an Instagram post. Okay, it'll go on this size. Oh, it's Twitter post. It'll go on this size. And it's also very, very easy to upload all your assets from your charities to integrate into your designs.
I will say it also saved my butt this year because I had a hard drive fry, but I had paid for the pro version, which is only a couple bucks a month, and I was able to get the video back off. So they do also keep everything for you, so that's a hidden like back plus.
There you go. Yeah, so I kind of mentioned about like, rewards, milestones, incentives, and stuff like that. So I do want to dive into that just a little bit before maybe seeing some visual examples through clips. So like what exactly incentives and milestones and rewards mean, because you hear these words, but what exactly do they mean?
So for me, it's fun little things to do with my community to celebrate, like, hey, we hit this milestone, we did this amount of good. So let me do something silly, or let me do something that you all have wanted me to do. Since I am a PNG tuber, I'm actually normally a little capybara, but like for Christmas, every time somebody donated to Project Hope, because that's what we were doing then, they got a little ornament on my screen and they filled up ornaments all around me. We'll do silly things like I will play play Demonologist After Dark because that game scares me, and people love seeing people scared.
Sure.
And having a little capybara screaming in terror is apparently something that's really, really
That's
enjoyable for
fantastic.
people. So we're doing St. Jude Play Live right now as side quest, and a lot of us are doing it. I know Smirky is currently fundraising as well. I actually have had a couple friends that are not fundraising or are fundraising for their own campaigns offer up things to do with me. So I have a friend, if we reach $500, they'll be doing a live listen of Taylor Swift on stream with me with their opinions. If we hit the 500, yes, mosh pad.
Oh, Mom.
So, and then I have another friend who is going to do like a live session of Marvel Snap coaching with myself, since we hit the milestone of me playing that on stream again. So you can incentivize anything, you can make anything into a milestone as long as you're having fun. That's gonna be
Yes.
great for your community.
Yeah, I think, when you think about incentives, it's really like the sky is the limit when you're thinking about what you want to do, and like we said with Tiltify, there's a lot of great things like polls. So you can let your community use the money to figure out, let's say what color hair you should dye your hair. That's kind of what got me started into it, as one of my favorites was, what color hair the community wanted to see. And so now it's just become kind of a trend. I think I've taken it on as a piece of armor at this point. But it could also be physical things. You can mail out just simple thank you cards. A lot of people will want to see thank you cards, and they can be just for a couple bucks. When you're first starting out, it's okay to like dream big, but a lot of the things that I see when it comes to like these incentives is you want to start smaller, because then it starts becoming a push goal and your community gets really invested. And it's one of those tips that I think a lot of the first-time charity streamers miss on, is that trying to just start small, like let's hit the small goal, and then we keep pushing and pushing. And when you get to say, this is my 5th stretch goal, it feels a lot better with the community. It helps kind of like galvanize those people to just kind of keep pushing that support.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of fun with my incentives over the years. There's been way too many like pies in the face,
I've got plenty of those clips, it's okay.
Yeah, we got some clips of that. I also, I have it with me in my backpack that I left at the show floor, like in the Artist Alley booth with one of my friends, but I have a jar of like these Bean Boozled jelly beans.
That's
And
a big one.
they're notorious. If you've never heard of them, look into them if you dare, because it's pretty much like it pops out like a jelly bean, but you don't know if it's going to be like the good flavor or the bad flavor. And I always like put it up to like for extra fun, like for channel points with my community, so they predict
You're
what
brave.
flavor the bean actually is once I taste it, to kind of even add more interactivity, even if it's not directly related to like the donation of the campaign, like donating money to predict the flavor, but rather just using fun little tools like that to further drive engagement. It just excites people for
That's a
wanting
great tie-in.
wanting to do it again.
I love
yeah.
that. I love that how you take it from not only like a charity incentive, but also something that your community can participate in and see like whether it's going to be good or bad. Like you
So
kind
that-
of draw out the moment, give everybody a chance to kind of get their votes, and that's really neat.
So
I
that
like
way, so that way, even if people are not able to donate because the economy is the economy, life is life. That way, they can still feel like they're part of the action and part of the excitement of fundraising. Because you don't have to donate your money to support a charity campaign. Just by being there and engaging with the stream, using your channel points like that supports the mission of what we're fundraising for. It doesn't always have to equate to monetary value. So definitely something to think about. Not just engaging your community through your donations, but engaging your community through your platform as a whole and getting everyone excited about what you're doing. Even, because sometimes it might feel a little, discouraging for someone to be like, oh, I can only donate X amount of dollars, I'm so sorry, or, oh, I can't donate right now, I'm, going through a hard time. Still finding ways to engage the entire audience is just, it's always been really pivotal for me, at least, so.
Yeah, I think that's like definitely a 101 tip of, reminding people that every dollar counts is a really, really big tip. It reminds people they can do dollar trains, it just makes for fun. And when you make those alerts as something that's just kind of fun and goofy that your community enjoys, it makes that dollar go a lot longer in value. And I think the other thing is that when you add channel points, or even like, hey, reminding your community to share tweets or social media links. They even have the Amplify link on Tiltify now, where you can create a separate link so that if you send it out to your social media, then if you get a donation through that link, they give you credit. And I've seen a lot of creators starting to use that now. So very, very good tie-ins there.
And that also brings to the other point that it's not just the money that you raise, it's the awareness that you are raising for your cause. Because it does not matter if you raise $1 million if nobody knows about the charity. Connecting people to your charity so they can receive the benefits from the charity that they need is just as important as the fundraising aspect. Especially for my community, since we are smaller, we do focus a lot on the awareness aspect, sharing information, talking about what our charity is currently at St. Jude Play Live. So talking about like the things that St. Jude does, because you never know when somebody might need those resources. And okay, they may not have been able to donate at that time, but okay, you know, my friend's kid is sick and needs help now. Okay, I know about St. Jude. I can talk to them about that. I can give them those resources now.
Exactly. And then it just turns into a whole situation where like we're all just kind of helping each other learn and helping each other like, you know, grow and get started and have that confidence to know that, you know, it doesn't really matter how much you raise, like join us, like, you know, we're all going to support each other through the good times and the bad times. And that kind of ties into the most, you know, one of the most important points, which is to make sure you take care of yourself whenever you are charity streaming. You know, before, during, after your streams, set your limits and your boundaries around your charity streams. You know, don't overdo yourself, because you know there are times where I have been like, oh, if I'm not streaming on this day, well, we're not raising much money. Well, you can try your offline efforts, but even then, you know, it does have that impact and can get to you mentally. So just, you know, be mindful about your health and wellness. I mean, panelists, I don't know how maybe you consider exercising your own health and wellness around your charity streams, and do you maybe even incorporate that into like incentives and milestones when it comes to something like taking care of yourself?
So it's really important for the basics that if you are doing, say you're doing an 8-hour stream, every 2 hours you are making sure you are taking a break, you are taking care of yourself, you are being cognizant of that. And something that just in general that I love to see in streams, no matter what, is when the streamer has like a hydrate redemption or a stretch redemption. And it's very important, especially when you're fundraising and you're doing those long haul streams, that you encourage your chat to remind you to take care of yourself, because just like on an airplane, you have to take care of yourself before you take care of others.
Yeah.
Very true. You know, it's interesting. Even if your community is not very chatty and you have one that's got full of a bunch of lurkers, it does happen. But you know, we were talking about tools. Nightbot is a really good one to set up free commands to like on a timer remind you to take those breaks. I'll speak about two separate things. When I first started, I started doing Extra Life, and Extra Life really touted a weekend in November where they, you know, wanted people to stream for 24 or even 25 hours straight because it's over daylight savings time.
Yeah.
I think I've completed that once in the 6 or 7 years that I did Extra Life, and that was probably the worst time. It was not a time I was taking care of myself, taking care of my health. Even when I was taking stand-up stretch breaks, like I didn't listen to my body and I kept pushing, and that definitely sent me back quite a bit. And so ever since then, I've been really diligent about, you know, if I'm really feeling like I need to end and move on, like my community is either going to understand because they know. You know, if I'm having a bad mental health day, if I've got some other physical things going on that are really bothering me and I need to take a break, that I take those breaks and then they'll join me the next time for the next stream. And I found that, you know, the community's happier because they feel like the streamer is taking care of themselves, you know, and again, the hydrate and the stretch redemptions and stuff like that. And we definitely encourage like thinking about all those different things.
Making sure you eat. That's the other one.
Yes, yeah, especially if you are gonna do a long stream like that, meal planning and thinking about that ahead. Those are ways to definitely help yourself prepare if you're gonna try that. But listening to your body is very important, and I learned that year.
Yeah, so that's all to kind of like show the broad scale of like creating incentives too. Like you can do something as simple as hydrating or taking a stretch break, or something as fun as a pie in the face, or you know, just it doesn't have to be big, crazy incentives. You can start small, kind of in increments, right? So we do have some clips that we are able to show from some of our friends on Team SideQuest who also are like charity rock stars. So we asked a whole bunch of team members to send in some clips of like some funny moments to kind of give you a visual idea of how some of these creators, you know, use incentives and rewards whenever they hit their milestones or their goals to make things a little fun along the way. So I mean, I don't know what clip you want to start with first.
I think I'm going to start. We've got a friend, Ace. This is kind of one of the conversations that we have when we talk about you can include other people, right? It doesn't just have to be you on stream. It can be your friends, your family, anything like that. So Ace hit $1,000 raised for St. Jude. I think
This was last year.
this was last year.
Yes.
Okay. And so I don't know who the family members are, but they have somebody doing a pie in the face and silly string, and I will put it on so you guys can see that.
I take everything back.
Oh my.
I should have got one from Pete.
Everything back in my mouth. Take it, please and thank you. No, would you like to handle the case file?
So that's the first half of the clip, and then I guess just a few minutes later, this is what happened.
Oh my.
I think that's 4 entire cans.
Remember, it's for the kids. It's for
Absolutely.
For kids, for animals, you know, shelter animals, all of those. It's to reward your community, and I think this is a really good showcase. It kind of makes you feel like you're one of the family, right? I think that's kind of what the takeaway here is, like, you feel like you're sitting in on the moment, getting to watch this almost like a front row seat. But communities love to see these sort of things. Let's see, we can try, you know a little more about these. So
So this is our friend Zenny. They are actually using an extension called Crowd Control, which lets your community donate through the extension for coins that they can use to impact your game and cause chaos.
Crowd control is one of the like most effective tools that you can use. It links directly with a Tiltify campaign that you may have created, and it just allows for so much chaos to happen. They have such a large, ever-expanding library of games, and this Cheese Explosion clip title will show you just how fun it is.
yeah, and I will also add, it's a really good integration tool for those that can't donate but still want to participate in the chaos. A lot of times your community can get free coins as well. It doesn't
like, try it
necessarily
out.
go towards the charity itself, but it is free coins that they can use to mess with your game, and it makes them feel like they're a part of the community and still impact your gameplay. So let's see what happens here.
It's literally everywhere. Ow. Oh my god. You're killing me with the cheese! How is this even possible?
There's so much cheese.
So I think the thing, like if you guys have never played
I have way too
Skyrim
much.
before, as he's
But-
walking over the cheese, it automatically picks
Good old
up.
floor cheese.
Oh,
Okay. Guys.
Wow.
There's so much cheese.
launch player was one of the redemptions.
It's
All the
literally
redemptions
everywhere.
are on the bottom left, so you'll
Okay, we made it
see
to the
them come
bottom.
in.
But as you can see, you know, you really have the ability to impact gameplay like that. The part that was with that is kind of like an adventure game if you've never played Skyrim. But you walk over the cheese and you pick it up automatically, and then when you hit your weight limit, you can't move anymore. So he kept having to clear out his inventory, like just wasting time. But his community felt really good about it because they had cornered him in a in a spot like that.
Yeah, and so you're like doing all this effort just to like try and progress and move in the game, but your community is just essentially trolling you to kind of like keep clearing out your inventory. They launched him into the air like a rag doll. So all these things, you know, it's kind of funny how like the relationship between chat and streamer really comes to full fruition during charity fundraisers like this.
It's always during the charity streams. It's one thing if you just stream normally, and I know all of us kind of stream differently when it comes to charity. I used to stream strictly for charity, so it was 100% of the time I was streaming, I had it on my bar. You see different success with the variety of like, let's do it once a month or every couple of months. Let's do it for a couple of weeks. So it just kind of depends. But, I just, it's wild when they come out for like big events like that and they're just like, we want to support you 10 times more than we normally support you, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah. What other clips do we have?
Now, this one is a side quest favorite game. We love to do Fortnite for charity because we can incentivize for different actions. So this one is going to be our pal, it's Nippy. Nippy got a $25 donation and had to be blindfolded for 5 minutes while playing Fortnite.
One of the things about this clip that I will note is this is a very good example of what Tiltify and their fundraising toolkits can do. As you can see at the very top, it's got, you're gonna see a widget that's got like the different rewards scrolling across the top to tell you what that money goes towards for St. Jude, shows how much has been raised, and then at the bottom, he's also got his incentives on a ticker that's gonna slide through saying, if you donate X amount of dollars, here's what's gonna happen. So this is a really good one for that.
I hit myself with a plunger. I'm bad. Wait. You just downed the one I damaged.
With a pickaxe, blindfolded.
Let's go. Yes, you did. And Nippy's goated, y'all.
With the blindfold.
Nippy's goated right there.
I couldn't even.
And that's why.
I don't know how he does it. He's got really good
I
headphones.
love direct.
Yeah, like you don't even know where you're going, but
Should've-
I don't know how, but that's really impressive.
I actually was watching him during this stream. I don't think I was there for the kill, but like the way that he could play this game with direction, he must have some really good headphones. I don't know what it is that he's got, but he was just automatically turning towards any sound. It was pretty cool to see. I definitely could not play a game blindfolded. I would just end up running off the
Definitely
track
not.
every single time.
It's not, speaking from experience, it's not fun trying to like play a game blindfolded, especially if you have to like click on certain things to do certain actions. You don't know where your cursor is because you're so like, you just kind of have to guess by sounds, and even then there's only so much you can do. So I struggle sometimes.
Do you know if he was playing with mouse and keyboard or was he playing with controller?
Oh, mouse and keyboard for sure, because they actually, Nippy and Ryan use playing with controller as one of their incentives.
Oh, I guess I missed that, but oh my gosh, I can't. I'm terrible with controller games like that. To imagine that he did that on mouse and keyboard, because that's the only way I think I could manage a shooting game is with a controller, actually.
All right, we got time for a few more clips, so let's see what other fun incentives creators are doing.
This goes to show what some of our teammates will go to extreme lengths for charity. This was last year for St. Jude, and Nippy had hit $4,000 raised in the Play Live season.
Wow.
So that was waxing.
Oh, I see the strip. Oh my.
Another good example of the overlays that Tiltify has, you can see again the bar. It's got like recent donors here as well. They have like a hype train function. I haven't messed around with that one as much. You can see the poll here, so you can see who's winning. And they donate these, whenever they make these donations, that's where it can go, and it goes for multiple things. There's a lot of tools on Tiltify for that. So let's watch our friend Nippy.
Yeah. Now back to this wax strip.
Yeah, let me make sure this.
So big.
That is massive.
Ready?
Look at that
All right,
Ron.
chat, do the countdown with me. You ready? 5,
Are you getting some ideas?
4,
No.
3, 2,
Oh no.
1.
Oh,
Oh.
we're really
Internet.
drawing out the suspense
One.
here.
Rip.
Oh.
Oh, in the slow-mo.
Oh. You can just see it in the face. Oh no.
Unintentional slow-mo. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, unintentional buffering, but I think it makes it better.
Yep.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, let me make sure
that's
this is
going
right.
the distance. I mean, you definitely want to make sure like you're not like doing anything to like harm yourself, but it's This is pretty funny. Like seeing the waxing and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
and that is actually a really good conversation that this ties into, is like making sure that you are safe in what you're trying.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain things that are against the terms of service, especially on Twitch. So you do want to make sure that the things that you do stay within those guidelines.
Yeah.
And Twitch is pretty clear on the guidelines as far as, like, if you read through them, it makes sense. If something is going to make you get sick, if there might be blood related to it, those are kind of where they draw the line, and somebody getting hurt. So you definitely want to be very, very careful about that. I think this is probably on the far end of that spectrum, but
oh, this is totally fine. This is hilarious.
yeah, definitely a very fair thing. But
again, this definitely shows how creative you can be with your incentives and your milestones.
absolutely.
We got another clip.
I do.
I think we have one more.
Let's get one more clip.
This is from
Laura.
Laura. Okay, so this is another teammate of ours, Laura Kay.
So it looks like they're fundraising for Project Hope.
Yes, this was at the end of last year, December, for Project Hope.
All right, let's see it. It's titled RIP.
Looks like there might be some crowd control going on as well. I'm just looking at the
Yep.
bottom left here, see what we got going.
So you can see viewer names pop up with the thing that they use coins, you know, that they redeem coins for, and that's how you know things are actively happening. And things do stack, by the way. So you know, we
Yes.
saw that earlier, and maybe we're about to see that now. So let's take a look.
The worst possible thing just happened. Like 3 of the worst possible things just happened. No!
I'm guessing this is a hard boss.
You swapped my weapon to the shittiest weapon, so my build is garbage. And you summoned
Oh, my internet is not very
Theseus
happy.
and
Come on, internet. I believe.
garbage. And you summoned Theseus and Asterius. No! No! Oh! And
Apologies, guys. Maybe we can.
no!
I think that gives us a good example
And
of what
now
you're
that
going
we
to
passed
see when it comes to
$100,
those.
I have to start using pacts of punishment. No!
So it sounds like they tried to pile a whole bunch of things up on Laura with that. It's definitely at the same time, which is very interesting to see. I love seeing that, like, compiling of all the different ways, and people can save them up, and you can actually have multiple community members even fund for some of those incentives to pop off. I think
True.
that's a great way to
Yes.
do that. What is that? Pooling, I think it's called.
Yes, through the crowd control extension, there is an option to start pooling all your funds for the bigger things. So it's a way for, like, you know, if especially for our community members that don't have the money to donate but can use the free coins, you know, if you get a lot of people going together, you can definitely cause chaos for your streamer. And we will pretend that we hate it, but we love it. We really do.
It's true.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah. I want to be mindful of time, and you know, in case anyone does have any like questions they might be interested in asking, I want to go ahead and open it up to any potential Q&A, and if not, we can always just watch another clip or two before we wrap up. But if anyone has any questions about, you know, starting charity stream, maybe things like working together with other streamers or working with brands even, anything like that, feel free to ask your question. We don't need like your life story or anything, just keep it pretty concise and, you know, just as we approach the end of the panel here. So if anyone does have any questions related, it looks like there's a microphone up front, but I think we're also okay if y'all don't want to walk up and you just want to raise your hand or anything. So if there are any questions, cool. Yeah, I see one in the back here.
I can just be loud.
You're fine. I'm tech ops. I'm just making sure if somebody does come up here, it works.
Yeah, you're welcome to either speak loud or you can go up to the microphone, whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay. I'm just curious. Have you all, because you talked so much about Tiltify,
Yeah.
have you ever not used Tiltify to fundraise for a specific charity, and have you found it to be like a bit more challenging when not using it? And sort of like as a second part to that question, do you feel like the streaming, or like a lot of streamers are, for the most
Yeah, so for anyone who might not have heard, the question was pretty much centered around like streamers using Tiltify. So have you ever used a platform that wasn't Tiltify in order to fundraise, and then do you kind of see streamers trending more towards mainly using Tiltify versus other platforms? So there are a number of other platforms that we didn't really go as in depth over, but Tiltify I would say is one of the main platforms, if not the main platform that creators do use. I personally, I have used, with Extra Life, they've kind of integrated into Donor Drive, which is another fundraising platform that I've used on a couple of occasions, whether for Extra Life or for any other causes. I've also used the on-site Twitch charity tool on a few occasions as well. They kind of built out their own kind of charity function that you can find within your Twitch dashboard if you want to take a look at that. But I think the big draw when it comes to platforms like Tiltify is just the level of interactivity that you get from integrating your milestones, integrating your incentives, the features that are there where you can even do something as cool as like setting a donation match and getting people to meet that challenge and essentially double the impact directly on that platform. So while there are other platforms that I have used and I do continue to use myself, given whatever the circumstances are of the fundraiser, Tiltify tends to be the platform that I always kind of lean towards whenever I'm looking at fundraisers to create. I don't know about you guys.
So I have used Streamlabs charity before. What I did like about that was because since I was already using Streamlabs for all my alerts and everything, it integrated from that so easily because everything was already set up. Not to say that Tiltify isn't an easy integration, but for some people it's more simple to have everything just through one thing. I will say with Tiltify, they have pretty much the largest and most comprehensive amount of causes to raise through, as well as the most payment methods to be used. Whereas some of the other ones, while they are great ways, they don't have as many options. So I do feel that is why people tend to lean towards Tiltify, just because it's also one of the most reputable and secure ways.
Yeah, those are all great points. Like for people who are fundraising right now for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, they have a multitude of payment methods. You can use your credit debit card directly, you can integrate PayPal. I think they even take cryptocurrency if you tend to have like crypto that you're using and you want to give that to charity. I think through the giving block they have that integrated on Tiltify. So they have a multitude of methods on there that directly that you can just use. So what about you?
No, I was gonna say I started out with Extra Life, which originally was through Donor Drive. And Donor Drive, I feel like they've been around longer than Tiltify, but Tiltify has taken their innovativeness further than Donor Drive has. So I think that's where I see a lot of that like mixture between Donor Drive being around longer, but Tiltify has gone really well above and beyond what most of these other platforms have done. And Streamlabs Charity, they're getting there, but they are much, much newer. And the Twitch Giving was within the 6 months to a year that it's been released. So we're still kind of testing out some bugs with that and whatnot.
Yeah, I've heard that Streamlabs Charity is a good option. Again, if you have like direct integration, your alerts are already there. You can go in, and Streamlabs, I heard, doesn't take money from
that is
like
correct.
all the money that is donated is going towards the charity. That's not to say these other platforms are or aren't, but that's just a notable point about Streamlabs Charity to look into as well.
Yeah, I think, and I may be misremembering, but it's somewhere between 5 to 10%, I think, that Tiltify and Donor Drive take from the charity itself specifically, whereas Streamlabs, it's technically through PayPal. So there's still a credit card charge fee, but that's all. None of it actually goes to Streamlabs.
Yeah, and Twitch's charity tool is through PayPal's Giving Fund as well, which is a bit of a fee as well. So these are things, again, when you're looking into like Charity Navigator for the specific charities that you're fundraising for, and then looking into the different guides that you can look at for different
the integrity
platforms,
as well.
for the integrity of the platform. There's a multitude of things you kind of have to look at. So, but those are good questions, because as much as we do talk about a primary platform like Tiltify, there are other platforms to fundraise for as well.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, all these platforms are fundraising for causes that matter, and the money is going to these causes that matter. So, there, like, you could say there's no right or wrong, and that is a
I
little
really think that's
subjective,
true.
But
Yes.
it's, yeah,
The only right way is to fundraise for charity.
Yeah.
that part.
I mean, as long as you know it's a reputable source, you're comfortable using it, that's what's important.
Hopefully all of that insight helps out. Yeah, were there any other kind of like insight questions, anything, curiosities, anything like that that y'all were interested in asking?
No question's a dumb question, I promise, especially when it comes to charity fundraising.
This is true. Yeah, it kind of ties into the whole aspect of us like wanting to help each other, because you maybe have a question, and these are questions that get asked all the time, so there really is no stupid question.
No, and I think the one thing that we didn't touch upon is actually what we are repping today.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of these organizations, as a thank you for your fundraising, will send you little gifts to say how much they appreciate you. So I am repping today Starlight Children's Foundation, which helps bring toys and interactions in the way of like really cool hospital gowns, things like that, entertainment to children that are hospitalized.
Yeah, so you know how like sometimes the hospital gown can be just kind of like solid color, kind of depressing, honestly, but they kind of like add themes to, you know, because I saw like a dress today here at MomoCon that was all like Piranha Plant themed, like Mario.
Yeah.
Like they'll customize the theming of the hospital gowns, so it could be like Mario or Zelda or, you know, just something fun like that to kind of adds a lot more color to it.
They do like portable gaming stations that can go around the hospital to different kids in different rooms. So, you know, if a kid is stuck in a room for forever, they get entertainment. They get a kind of, you know, a little break from their situation, which I think is super cool.
A lot of really cool things. I love hearing about that stuff.
Yeah, what shirt are you wearing today?
So this is, like I said, a work opportunity. So I work for Choose Mental Health. It's a mental health charity for helping kids who need something as small and their families, as small as like a $100 for a therapist visit, but all the way up to like an 18-month inpatient stay for some serious, you know, mental health treatment. Maybe they're learning how to navigate their life with whatever disability they may have now that's causing mental health issues. But they're some of the top-rated facilities, and the company itself provides scholarships to these families to make sure that they can receive that best care that they and their family need to get through whatever mental health struggles they may be going through. So it's got a nice little
Oh, you got your name on the back. That's awesome.
butterfly and my name on it, yeah. A
That's
little
so
bit of
cool.
a custom, but it's something we're looking at as incentives for future fundraisers.
Yeah, whenever you go to an event page on Tiltify, so often charities will have specific events that you can join in on to join. Like, so we talk a lot about St. Jude Play Live. So instead of just going to Tiltify and selecting like St. Jude as your fundraiser, you can join in on like an event. And on those event pages, you'll see different incentives that those charities offer to creators who fundraise set amounts. So if you, for St. Jude Play Live, if you raise $100 to get a t-shirt, if you raise $500 to get a mouse pad, or like a hoodie from Twitch or something like that. And some creators have even like started fundraising entirely because of those incentives. But a lot of the times those rewards are just nice to have, not the main purpose of like fundraising or anything.
Yeah, and it's also cool to take those rewards and be able to give them back to your community to host giveaways with.
Giveaways are super awesome. If you haven't integrated giveaways as like charity milestones, that can drive a lot of excitement as well.
Absolutely. And what about you, Smirky? What are you wearing today?
My shirt that I'm wearing is from St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, since I'm fundraising for them. So it's covered by a badge. It says "This shirt saves lives," and this is a shirt that you can get on like the St. Jude website, like I think on their gift shop or something, by donating to the cause. So I have so many charity shirts in my closet. I have the Starlight one as well. And you tend to get these items as well sometimes from like being a representative and ambassador for these programs as well. So yeah, I definitely have gotten a lot of items over the years, but they're all fun, and some of them can even be used as incentives. Just like they send you like a random item and you're like, oh, I can turn that into a fun little charity incentive idea. So,
And the nice thing is, a lot of these charities, you know, especially with like St. Jude, now you're kind of seeing it with Project Hope. if you fundraise for them one year and you plan to do it the next year, you know, St. Jude has some of these like incentive boxes that they'll send because you fundraised so much last year. And a lot of times it'll be filled with like trinkets that you can use for incentives. Sometimes I've had, you know, seen like some crazy kaleidoscope glasses they sent one year.
They sent this thing this year where it was like you put on these glasses and they're like these big eyeballs, but if you like tug on the screen, it like closes and opens the eyelids or something, and it just looks so goofy and silly. And why would they send you this? But also,
you know,
it's
you're supposed to
perfect.
attach it underneath your chin,
Yeah,
so
like
that when you talk,
you attach it, so then it yeah. So it's kind of funny what kind of ideas they will put together that just kind of surprise you year after year to make things more engaging going into the next year.
Yeah, but that's definitely something, like if you plan on doing this long term, that's something you can look forward to. You know, I remember how much I raised for my first fundraiser, so I'm going to wait to tell that. But how much did you fundraise for your very first fundraiser ever?
My charity water fundraiser ended up raising, I want to say it was about $1,600 with my YouTube community at the time. And then unofficially had a $1,000 company match as well added on top of that. So that was like very eye-opening. And then my first St. Jude fundraiser in 2018 was about $1,400.
What about you, Star?
So my first charity fundraiser was actually St. Jude Play Live last year. And that was solo by myself, not on SideQuest or anything. We did $269.69 because of someone coughed Darzog getting a hold of my donations.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty common. You'll start to see some of those funny memes in there. But to give you guys a little bit of like understanding too, and I'll ask you the same of the both of you, but keep in mind, Star, you said you've been doing this for about a year. Smarky, how long?
This would mark 10 years because that charity water campaign was 2014, but I took a few years off. So consistently since 2018, so like 6 or 7 years consistently.
So about the same here. So to give you a perspective of like the different size of streamers that we are and what our communities can raise, the very first Extra Life I did, I only raised $85. Majority of that was just from an online community from the game ArcAge that I played at the time. But there were a couple other like shared donations as well. But take in mind that that was 6 or 7 years ago. Since then, I've raised almost $50,000 for various charities.
Period.
So when you think about your like impact over the years, it really can mean a whole lot for these charities, and that's why they really, really encourage you to come back year after year to continue to make that impact.
Exactly, and you can do it from any size. My community in 1 year with about 200 people, as of right now, we just passed over $1,000 in 1 year for charity.
Nice.
That's amazing.
And how much have you raised, Murky?
A lifetime for all the charities I fundraised for, over $125,000.
So impact is no matter what size you are. You can be a very small person who has, you know, no viewers, but you can still make an impact. You can be somebody like Smirky who reaches so many people and make an impact. It does not matter how you do it. It matters that you're doing it and that you're having a good time. And especially for us at SideQuest is that we do it together.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's why we're all a team of charity rock stars. So we are coming up on time here. So I do want to thank everyone who was here attending our panel. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your MomoCon experience to join us today. Just gonna kind of outro all of us here, starting with at the end.
So yeah, I am Starlight. Yeah. What else do you want me to say?
Yeah, I mean, how can we find you? What are you up to next?
You can catch me. I have a full-time job, so my schedule's kind of off and on, but it's Starlight, StarRelight, on Twitch. There's 2 eyes on Twitter. There is a TikTok account floating around, but I kind of forget to upload on that, so, and that would be the same handle.
As the good streamers do. I'm Poulshu. You can find me Poulshu. That's on Twitch and most other social medias. Poulshu2 on Twitter. That's a long story, but I really do appreciate all of y'all that came in, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your MomoCon. And the last 2, Sparky.
It's funny, we can never get the same name on all the socials. It's hard out here.
No.
So I'm Smirky. You can also find more information on me on the MomoCon app as a guest, but I'm a Twitch partner, Twitch ambassador. You can find me twitch.tv/Smirky, which is SMIRKY, smirk with a Y at the end. I am doing quite a few streams here at MomoCon actually at the streaming booths in the gaming hall. So I'll be live from MomoCon around 9 p.m. tonight if you're around later on, and you can watch me check out a game called Toontown as we're playing a brand new update that came out the other day while we're charity fundraising for St. Jude as well. And I just want to thank our panelists for taking the time out of their MomoCon as well to very well speak on the topic of charity fundraising. If anyone would like to talk to us after the fact, feel free to stop us out in the hall or anything like that, but we can step on out so they can get ready for the next panel. But sincerely, thank you all so much for attending, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your MomoCon experience. Thank you so much.
Woo.